think I need that much.
That's what I
The
was
form of public opinion that is
right. Ready? To call the meeting in order. First start out with the pledge of allegiance and moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, Madam President, good afternoon. How are you today? I hope you're having a good day so far.
Good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Without further ado, I'll turn this over to you and our lease hearing, Madam President.
At this time, we will be having a lease hearing, and I will turn it over to Mr. Wilson to conduct this hearing.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, the school corporation is funding this project through a lease financing, as it has done with past construction and renovation projects. Lease financings are used in Indiana by school corporations in order to borrow for renovation and for construction. And actually what happens is that we have a building corporation that will purchase a portion of the building. This particular case happens to be the band room and the chorus room, which they're purchasing. And the building corporation will then lease that back to the school corporation. The lease rental amount due from the school corporation will be paid by property taxes and will be for the lease of the building during the term of the lease. The lease rental will be sufficient then to pay the principal and the interest on the bonds that will be sold to finance the project. And then at the end of the project, and after the bonds are paid off, then the building corporation deeds that portion of the building back to the school corporation. So the law requires that we publish notice of a hearing. We have done that in both the Versailles and Brookville papers. And so at this time, if there's anybody in the public that would like to comment about the lease, please feel free to do so.
I have one question, Mr. Wilson.
Yes, sir.
What's our annual lease cost?
The annual lease rental,
Yes.
it is, let me look. That lease is about 20 pages, and I did memorize it. Lessee agrees to pay rental during renovation in the amount of up to $570,000 per payment, payable on June 30 and December 31. Now, it said up to that amount. That's because we drafted this beforehand, and the actual amount will be very quickly figured out based on how the bids came in and what the interest rate will be and so forth. So we don't really know today. It won't be more than that. It'll probably be a lot less than that.
Okay,
But since we're a little farther out.
I understand.
Yeah, we don't know.
And the second question is, what budget area does that come out of? The debt?
You were correct, Mr. Parker.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
We actually have a construction fund that's set up when the money comes in from the bonds to pay for everything, and then those payments will funnel through and come out of the debt fund.
Okay, thank you very much for that.
Okay. Okay, well, at this time then, we will go into what's called the additional appropriation hearing. Since the school corporation will receive money for the sale of the real estate from the building corporation, this money was not initially listed in the budget of the school corporation. Therefore, we're required to hold a hearing for the additional appropriation of those funds. So at this time, I'll open it up. If there's anybody in the public that would like to ask any questions or comment on this additional appropriation. Hearing none, then that will conclude both of those hearings as required by law. There are 4 resolutions that I have prepared for you to consider today. The first one, which is Exhibit A to our minutes is a resolution authorizing the execution of the lease. The statute provides that you must pass this resolution, authorize the president and the secretary to sign the lease. And I should say that the building corporation met yesterday and they adopted a similar resolution. They signed the lease yesterday as well. So I need a action on this resolution.
Can I seek a motion for someone to approve the authorization execution of the lease?
I will make that motion.
Thank you, Larry. Do I have a second?
I will second.
Thank you, Blaine. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, same side. Motion carries.
Thank you. Second resolution is the additional appropriation resolution. And we need to adopt this resolution to, since it wasn't originally in our budget, the resolution also specifies that the funds will be put into the construction account to pay for the construction. So we need action on this resolution.
Stephanie, I'll make a motion that we approve the additional appropriation resolution.
Thank you, Jeremy. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Sean. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Third resolution is a resolution called approving the fifth supplement to the master continuing disclosure undertaking. What that mouthful means is the Securities and Exchange Commission of the United States requires that we have this disclosure agreement approved by the board. Anytime you sell securities, bonds, we have to comply with the SEC rules. This requires that the school corporation timely provide information to the SEC through their database called EMMA. And they have to report anytime there's any material events. So if half the business at Batesville left town and we weren't going to have taxes coming from that, we'd have to report that to the SEC and say, we've got an issue here. So need authorization of this resolution.
So who submits it to this EMMA database?
The school corporation does in conjunction with Baker
Baker
Tilly.
Tilly is municipal advisors. They
Okay,
help us
okay.
with that, but
Baker Tilly?
Mr. Nabi and Mr. Ketchum and myself.
Okay, thank you.
Did
Can I
we
seek,
vote on that one? I can't remember.
No, we
not
haven't.
can I seek a motion to approve the supplemental of continuing disclosure undertaking?
I will move.
Thank you, Blaine.
I'll
Do I have a
second.
second? Thank you, Jeremy. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you. The final resolution is a resolution assigning construction bids and contracts to the building corporation. It's the school corporation that takes these bids from contractors for the jobs to be done. But since the money from the sale of the bonds goes into the building corporation, they have to assign those contracts to the building corporation. And that's the purpose of this resolution.
Can I seek a motion to approve the contracts to the building corporation?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Sean. Can I get a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Larry. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you. That concludes my business.
Thank you, Mr. Olson.
Thank you very much.
Madam President, if I may take a personal privilege to thank Doug Wilson for his 45 years of service to the school corporation. He has worked with 4 superintendents. I don't want to rank the superintendents, but I feel like in the top 4.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
See you.
We begin every meeting with our portrait of a graduate, our North Star, our mission. Together with our community, BCSC is committed to providing an engaging and relevant learning environment based on a strong foundation of academic knowledge, transferable skills, and real-world experiences. Batesville Bulldogs embody confidence, empathy, and resiliency to ensure 21st century success. With that, Madam President, we'll roll right into our agenda. My first recommendation for your consideration is the approval of minutes from our July 16th meeting.
Does anybody have any questions about the minutes?
No.
Can I seek a motion to approve the minutes from July's meeting?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Larry. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Sean. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you, Madam President. The next item for your consideration are the payroll journals and register of claims. You did receive an additional 5 pages of claims from Mr. Nabi today. Those claims total $103,000. The 2 largest portions of that are our Kurt's lawn care maintenance for maintaining our grounds, and also Cook Mechanical for the work they've done. You can see on the back page, page 505, that's about $92,000 from the operations and construction fund, only just under $9,000 from the education fund. Give you a moment to look over that. Happy to answer any questions you have. Seek a motion to approve those as presented.
Todd, thank you for those answers.
Stephanie, I'll make a motion that we approve the payroll journals and register of claims.
Thank you, Jeremy. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Sean. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you, Madam President. The next item for your consideration is list of personnel. It is an extensive list. As we start the school year, we have a lot of moving parts. Happy to answer any questions you may have, but I'll seek a motion to approve that list as presented.
Paul, just a point of clarification. I know there was, like you said, fairly lengthy, especially in that kind of classified section. Are those most of those, are those like additional responsibilities that people are taking on, not necessarily a completely new position, correct?
That would be accurate for some of those classified staff, as we have maternity leaves, on leave, they have stepped up and filled those roles.
Yeah.
So that's accurate statement, Mr. Rader.
Any
So
other-
extended leave or for maternity?
Could be for any request, maternity being one. Extended leave simply is a term that allows this board to understand that employee will be off work for an extended period of time. We don't get real specific, Mr. Merkel, for HIPAA violations and all the other reasons.
I understand.
So is Megan Boggs, is she extended leave or resignation?
She was both. She was hired here for extended leave. She found a full-time position in Northbrook, so she's now a resignation.
Appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
And I know this may be more for some of our coaches too, Paul. Do we have like a policy for, because some of the names on here are younger folks, recent graduates of the high school, which is great, but do we have like a policy where we don't have recent graduates coaching their former teammates? I know when I was coaching at the middle school, that was kind of a concern that had been expressed. I don't know if that's a general policy for.
That's a great question. Ms. Cole, can you capture that? Or is it a background check? I don't know if we have a specific policy about the age of our coaches when student athletes they work with. We'll do some research on that.
Yeah, I think it's great that we have alumni or recent graduates helping out with the program. I just didn't know if there was a policy in place to, for whatever reason. So,
We'll bring that research.
Yeah.
I would think the age of 21 would be appropriate.
It could be, depending on what level you're working for, Mr. Merkel. And the individual who's doing the coaching, right? There's a lot of different factors that we would consider before allowing former student coach for a school coaching athletes.
And if it's a volunteer coach, do they still have to sign some type of contract?
Go through the same processes as a paid coach. The only difference is they're unpaid positions, but they still go through the approval process to be a coach.
Okay, thank you.
And they take trainings and things of that sort, just all the same as the paid coaches for interacting with athletes and things of that sort.
That is correct, Mr. Tenera. Mr. Helvey has a list of videos you have to go through and watch. You come check those boxes. So yeah, CPR, first aid. Yeah, everybody does the same things.
Any other questions? Can I seek a motion to approve the personnel list?
I will make a motion.
Thank you, Blaine.
I'll second.
Thank you, Jeremy. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you, Madam President. If you may, I'd like to take a point of personal privilege and introduce Mr. Mel Seifert. No stranger to Batesville, Indiana. Mr. Seifert's been kind enough to come back and fill as our interim high school principal for exactly 93 days, maybe we're tripping in 94, 95. I didn't tell Kyle this, but after this meeting, he's going to line Kyle up the baseline and have him do some wind sprints. So
Full circle, yeah.
Yeah, full circle. So I do want to thank Mr. Seifert. He was the only individual I reached out to. He's the perfect fit. I say that if you're going to keep both hands on the wheel, there's high expectations for Batesville High School, and he's prepared to lead that building. Mr. Seifert, anything you'd like to add to that, sir?
Beginning of the month, this wasn't on my bingo card. But, when Paul called, I was how to get elected, actually. I mean, I was excited, and the closer I get, the more excited I get about it. So I do miss the interaction with kids and teachers after being out for 5 years. Looking forward to getting back into the game.
So are you retired now?
Now, this is the start of my 5th year. So,
Oh, great.
So, yeah, we, there's a lot of things that kind of Plainfield and Batesville are, like the Ivy Tech program here. We started that at Plainfield. We used their model, and they took it to another level, which they always do, and built a $10 million building called Maine in Plainfield, which houses Ivy Tech, Indian States, Rose Hallman, and several corporations in the Plainfield area that do their corporation training in that facility. It's right across the street from the high school, so we've stolen a lot from Plainfield, from Batesville, that brought to Plainfield. I'm glad to come back and contribute back to Plainfield for Batesville community.
So students at the high school can take college classes at Indiana State, Rose Holman, and also Ivy Tech, right?
We walk across the parking lot.
Great.
You know, and I know you guys here, they drive out of Tech. We had some property there that wasn't being utilized, and we felt like it was nice of our students to have an opportunity just to walk across the parking lot, take classes, and come back and forth.
Great.
So, look forward to starting in January.
Thank you, Mr. Steve. Appreciate that. Madam President, we'll continue on the agenda. Next agenda item for your consideration is travel requests. Let me do a little, set the table for you. So you see Erica Burke's requested travel to Los Angeles, California, which they typically for employees to do that. So in conjunction with Ivy Tech, about 5 years ago, we started a process, and NACEP is the organization that accredits colleges. We put in a proposal in conjunction with Ivy Tech to present at the conference. So Ms. Erica Burke will be presenting with Ms. Sammy Carterbeck about our dual credit experience and how much we leverage that and how important that is to us. So Erica will be part of that presentation in Los Angeles, California. But obviously, we do need the board approval for her to travel and attend that conference. So seek a motion to approve that as presented.
I'll make the motion to approve the travel request.
Thank you, Larry. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Jeremy. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you, Madam President. We'll transition on our agenda to the financial report, and I'll turn it over to Mr. Tim Hunter.
The financial report is on the screen for the end of July. Coming off the summer months, we have lighter payroll out of the education fund for some of our classified 9-month positions. So we started the month in the education fund with just a little under $2 million. We had over $1.5 million in revenue, but just about $1.3 million in expenditure. So that balance climbed by $200,000 to finish the month at $2,188,155, which represents 12.3% of the full year appropriation. So that's kind of a high water mark. That will come back down considerably next month with our August report, because it's a 3 payroll month right off the bat here to start the school year. But almost $2.2 million balance in the education fund. The debt service fund had just about $20,000 in miscellaneous revenue and no expenses. So it climbed from about $1.375 million to almost $1.4 million balance. The operations fund started with about $4.7 million, a little over $90,000 in revenue, and still the expenditures at about $360,000 for the month of light. We actually have a lot of summer project invoices and things that were approved that were approved at this board meeting, payments for things that we did. So that was a pretty light month in the operations fund, but that balance dropped by about $250,000 to finish the month at $4,442,827. The rainy day fund actually had $50,000 of expenditures. I think that may be incorrect on the screen. So I know we haven't had any changes for a long time, but we did pay $50,000 was what we had budgeted for 2025, and for the purpose of paying severance and retirement benefits to employees. And we had several retirements and some later in May and June decisions that some of those expenses were paid out of the rainy day fund. So that balance is dropped to about $9,000. Overall, across those four funds, the balance at the end of July was $8,034,109, about $30,000 more than the end of July of 2024. Any questions from board members?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Hunter.
Thank you.
We'll transition on our agenda, and before we do that, I just want to take, we take a great deal of pride at Batesville to grow our staff members, and we challenge our staff members to take leadership positions and do more. And Mr. Kyle Laker, as our Bull Ready coordinator, has absolutely done that to the best of his ability. Very proud of Kyle and what he's done. One of the benefits of having these meetings at noon is we have access to our staff. So Kyle's going to take some time and kind of help you understand where we're at in the master plan, and specifically what our Bull Ready calendar looks like, a calendar of events. So without further ado, Kyle, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Ketchum. Board, good afternoon to you all. Thankful that air handler just shut off. I know you guys are probably freezing like I am, but I just want to touch base real quick on just our Bulldog Ready calendar. And if you guys want one of these as well, you should pass one of those down. I really just want to paint a picture for you all that, as Paul said, like a lot of times people thought Bulldog Ready was Kyle Laker's initiative. And what I'm most proud of, or most looking forward to this year, is just seeing the number of people that are involved in Bulldog Ready initiatives. As you see it, we hired, we made some room in Rose Wild's schedule here to help with the freshman community and the sophomore communities. So you'll start to see really her role change as a high school teacher as well, to really start to take some of that ownership for our freshman community and our sophomore communities, while I can still oversee it from the corporation side, and then also working K-8 on our experiences there. What I want to do for one of my visions were, last year, April and May became like a zoo for me, because everything waited till after testing. We had our second grade guaranteed experience, we had our fifth grade guaranteed experience, we had our eighth grade guaranteed experience, and we also had a work-based learning fair all of the last couple of weeks of April and into May. And my vision last year was like, I cannot do that again. It needs to be spread out. And so one of my initiatives here early on this summer and the start of the school year was to get a date for everything that we're doing, and be able to spread out these guaranteed experiences so there's one per month. And so at the top of this document that you have in front of you was those guaranteed experiences. And as you remember, last year we did 2, 5, and grades 8, whereas this year we're adding 3 more. So how do we continue to make this a sustainable model that we can build year in and year out? As you see down there in the monthly planner in September, it says year 2 of the master plan begins. We kind of use that calendar year to work from September to September. Let's get the rolling start started. Let's roll into the school. Let's get a process and a routine down, and then we can really start to roll into a lot of our guaranteed experiences and a lot of our community connected opportunities that we have K-12 with our Bulldog Ready events. And so I just want to paint that picture for you all. In year 3 or year 2 of the master plan, we're adding experiences for kindergarten. We're adding experiences for 3rd grade, and then we're adding an experience for 6th grade. So those are our new experiences: kindergarten, 3rd grade, and 6th grade. Kindergarten and 3rd grade, I'm working with those grade levels currently to build out those experiences. And remember, the root of our guaranteed experiences is how are we tying these experiences to our pathways at Batesville High School. So when we talk about our 2 different communities at Batesville High School, we have 8 different pathways. We're trying to expose our students K-8 to those 8 different pathways so that they can see what it means to be in the agriculture pathway, or see what it means to be in the engineering pathway, just to have that real world experience in those different pathways. So you'll see that pathway listed at the top of those guaranteed experiences, and then a date there at the bottom. You'll see kindergarten and 8th grade, I have a question mark. I'm still waiting to nail down that date. But what I have done so far, this is a draft. Consider this a draft. I'm trying to finish this up as we speak. I want to nail down those last 2 dates for those guaranteed experiences. Beyond the guaranteed experiences, we also have a lot of other opportunities that we're bringing in community members into the classrooms or into the schools as a whole. And so that's kind of this monthly planner. I then wanted to just break it down for my own sake. What does the month of September look like for me? And what do I need to start planning now to be able to happen in September there? So you'll see some points of interest in September is, the Ripley County Community Foundation and Genesis Pathways create a career exploration expo. So we're hosting that this year. That happens on our schedule. September 16th, the 6th grade nonprofit day. And if you guys can advance to the next slides there, I'll talk about our vision for Batesville Middle School. Batesville Middle School 6th grade, you'll see that it hits nonprofit. We don't have a nonprofit pathway at the high school. But what we want to do is when we are constantly asking our community members to come in and help out with events, or come be a presenter, or let us come see your space, we may wear out a lot of businesses if we keep asking the same businesses over and over and over again. And so what a model that we have stolen from the Ford and GL process is to make the middle school area about like service learning and nonprofits and giving and being able to understand, like, I can give them my own time, I can give them my own resources, and kind of take pride in your community. So you'll see this nonprofit vision for the middle school, and we use the mantra of see, do, evolve. Again, we're in year 1 or year 2 of the middle school. Year 2 of the master plan, but year 1 of our kind of our plan for this See, Do, Evolve model. In 6th grade, they want to see as many nonprofits and learn about that foundation of giving so they can understand what it means. We had a lesson the other day about pizza, and they said the lesson was about the difference between a for-profit and a nonprofit. And the kids could not figure out, this is where we have to really educate our 6th graders. The difference between like Ison's Family Pizza was a for-profit because you could go in there and eat pizza. But they said Domino's was a nonprofit because they don't have a store. You can't go in there and eat. So those are a type of opportunities where our advisory teachers are then taking these mini lessons and teaching them. You guys all are familiar with our convening council, right? Where we have this organization outside of the school who's building these resources. They've created some vocab that they wanted us to up front kind of teach our students so that they were prepared for that September the 16th date. Words like philanthropist, our 6th graders should know that word before that nonprofit day on the 16th. So that's kind of how we're working these guaranteed experiences. There's opportunities beforehand. On September 16th, they're going to see 5 different nonprofits, and we're just going to create a rotation in the school where we have 5 different nonprofits in what we call the Inspire and Impact series. They have 10 minutes to inspire. They have 10 minutes to give their elevator speech to our kids. And then for 30 minutes, how can our 6th graders actually partake in an activity that might be an example of their nonprofit? So that elevator speech should talk about what problem did they solve in the community and why is it important to their passion? Because that's part of our portrait for graduates. Find your passion, what's your why? All these nonprofit directors and nonprofit workers have a passion for this. And what passion is that solving? And so that's that middle school model. When you look at C, and then in 7th grade next year, as we start to plan that, how can we then donate a day of our time to a nonprofit to help them find their passion? And they'll get to choose that nonprofit of their choice after they're exposed to a lot of different nonprofits their 6th grade year. So I want to paint that picture. I keep wanting to give you guys bite-sized chunks of what we're trying to do with Bulldog Ready without overwhelming you in the roots of the master plan. But as that master plan is coming to fruition, I wanted to just paint that picture for the board here today of what we're really trying to do with the Bulldog Ready calendar, and then our nonprofit kind of focus there at Batesville Middle School. So with that, I'll take any questions from you all. Mr. Merkel?
2 questions. Can you provide those slides to us?
Yeah.
Second question, what nonprofits do you have here done right now?
Yeah, I didn't add that to the slide that I wrote. That's my last slide.
That's the last slide, though, yeah.
So in September 16th and in January, I think it's January 13th, we invited a group of 10 nonprofits that we felt could connect well with our students. We didn't want to have all the same opportunities for our students. So, for instance, like the Carson Hughes photography. Carson Hughes, you all probably remember the story of the South Ripley student that passed away at Purcell State Park.
Oh, okay.
That kind of draws some of those heartstrings for people that, one, can connect with that student, but two, photography is a big passion from students. So taking that role of outdoors and photography for that. Youth to Yellowstone's another example. We have Green Acres in Oldenburg for the cultural piece. We have Basic Community Education Foundation because it's important to keep them rooted in our schools as well.
Yeah, right.
I'll provide the board, I'll provide Laura, and Mr. Ketchum there, if we want to share those resources out, I can share those and say, this is the list that we've reached out to.
Great,
And we'll continue to open that door up from others as well.
great. Thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. Laker today?
Great job.
Yeah, fantastic
Good
work.
stuff.
Thank you. Appreciate it. The great support from all these initiatives, and we'll continue to look for more community involvement as we go.
Thank you, Kyle, appreciate that.
Thank you.
Madam President, we'll transition on our agenda to patron comments. And I think you've heard from both our patrons, so unless you want to hear them again.
I think we're good unless you got something you want to add.
Okay. We'll roll right to our action items. Madam President, members of the board, the first item for your consideration is the approval of the change of the October board meeting. Due to fall break and some other conflicts, we'll need to approve our budget in October, so I'll seek a motion to move our board meeting to Wednesday, October 8th, noon, here in this boardroom.
Paul, it's likely that I will be unable to attend on that date, so I just wanted to verify that we do have at least 3 other board members able to attend. Does anyone else have a conflict on the 8th?
I'll be here.
I have a conflict.
I will be here.
I will be here.
So it sounds like you have 3.
We have 3, we have a budget, but no one can get sick or miss.
And I will be in town. I just have a commitment that I really can't step out of, but if there was an emergency, I could be here if for some reason somebody else was ill or something happened, so.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Ray, for that information. Mr. Townley, thank you.
I'll make a motion to move the October board meeting to Wednesday, October the 8th.
Thank you, Larry. Do I have a second?
I will second.
Thank you, Blaine. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you, Madam President. The next item for your consideration is approval of an MOU, Memorandum of Understanding and Agreement, Association of Indiana Counties Tax Refund Exchange Compliance System. That's a lot of work to say this organization will replace small claims court. There are times when we have patrons who are unable to pay for, or they don't pay some lunch balances or fees, and we go through every layer of opportunity to help them either do monthly payments, weekly payments. But at some point, if there's no further road forward, we have to try to collect those fees. This is Mr. Navi's initiative. I appreciate him taking this initiative forward. Todd, is there anything you want to share with the board about what this is and what this does?
It's called the Trucks Program. It is used by several schools and cities and towns from around us and throughout the whole state of Indiana. It's where we upload information to the system and it goes to their tax returns. You know, when they file a tax return, if you're getting money back and you owe an entity money, they will garnish it from your tax return.
So like how far back? So like if you have somebody that you're still dealing with from a couple of years ago, does that still go into this or are we just forgiven that at that point?
No, it will go into it because right now, well, we're down to cafeteria balances and some of our daycare systems and technology. Those are all current. Technology, we can forgive, daycare balances, we forgive, school lunch, is not forgivable. If we were to forgive it, it would have to come out the operations or the education fund to replenish that money to that account. It's federal dollars. So we don't really, we do our best not to have, to forget that money.
How much of a sum are we talking about?
For cafeteria, we were at about $4,000 total. It's about a dozen students. There's a couple in our daycare system, and I'm not sure how much on the IT fees. I don't know that. I don't have that dollar amount.
Stephanie, I thought maybe this is where you were going, but
According to Mike, it's about $10,000 on the IT fees.
I guess a similar question. I thought maybe this is where Stephanie was going, but like if you've currently got something in the current small claims process, can you then move it over to this process?
On the, this is another reason why we're using the small claims process is not working currently. So none of the cafeteria or the other fees that have been put in. I know IT has worked on that, but I do not believe that small claims has moved forward on anything that's been sent to them in several years.
So you can move it
So
over.
they move it over.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that's kind of where I was going.
And it's at no charge to the school corporation, and it's unless for a charge to the individual, then small claims. I believe small claims is, I believe, $75 to $100 per court, and then this process is $25. It's only $25 per incident.
That's great.
And Madam President, I want to reiterate, this school corporation is committed to working with every family. This is the last.
Right,
Yeah, I
right,
mean, we haven't done anything since COVID, just because we've been trying to work on
right.
it other ways.
Is there an assessment for individual accounts for the debtors, like whether they even have the ability to pay? I mean, I'm guessing that some of these folks may not even file tax returns potentially.
Which we'll find out from whenever they review it. But we're just starting it, but they'll let us know, and then then that's when they go to unclaimed, and then for cafeteria balances, every year we do a transfer of money from the education fund to cover those fees. Like this year, we didn't have. I didn't bring it to you because we had enough to cover those small amounts that were due. Were covered by surpluses that no one requested.
Mr. Chairman, our quick history lesson, the state of Indiana covers textbook rental fees for families. But prior to that, we were able to raise property taxes under debt service under unclaimed textbook rental. We no longer have access to that. So again, there's no textbook fee, just mostly IT, cafeteria balances, trying to reclaim that. Todd mentioned it because any unclaimed fees or any unpaid balances, we have to take out the education fund. We can't run a negative balance in the cafeteria.
Do we know, like, are some of the cafeteria things, are those like students that already receive like reduced lunch? And maybe they need to be like more on the free lunch program, or?
No, that is all done through our food service director. She reaches out monthly. If it's more than $25, she sends if it's at $25 less, she sends just a statement home to the student. When it gets between 25 or above, she calls once a month. If it's over $50, she tries to call. She calls 25 to 50 is about once a quarter. Because sometimes you just forget.
Yeah.
And if it's over 50, then she tries to call them monthly. She sends me a list of whether or not they've answered the phone, whether or not they gave a response saying, "Hey, we'll try to pay," and she keeps track of that. And so that's all been done for a while. So this is the amount I'm going to send is people who she's tried for almost a year to get payments. And she does suggest that, if you free and reduced, you can't pay. She talks, and some will say, "Oh, I'm going to do that," and then they never do because they.
So the options
So
there,
yeah,
they're just not
it's
doing
an
it.
exhausting process before I get to the point where
I
I'm
get
going
it.
to send them to.
And then, what was the high point of the unpaid balances?
Now,
It's all
several
the
years
work
ago,
that's been
before
done by the
COVID,
cafeteria department.
we're total probably in the red right now is about $5,000. I'm only looking at the ones that are $50 or more, which is, believe it or not, is actually 3,500 of that $5,000. So most of it is bigger balances. But whenever it was taken over before COVID, we were close to like 13,000 in the negative accounts, and we worked very hard to get that between the deputy treasurer at the time and our food service director. has worked tirelessly on trying to get it. When we had free lunches, they worked really hard on getting people, okay, well, it's not gonna grow, so we pay, make some payments now. We worked a lot on that process, so $5,000 sounds like a lot still, but I mean, it's a very workable number.
It's better than 13.
Yes.
Todd, do we accept like payment plans?
Yes, we accept payment plans. For like when we had textbook rental, I used to do formal payment plans with certain parents because that's how we did it. The cafeteria, it's always, you can always make a payment. We don't, we try to get them to do it, but most of them don't. But we just try to call and communicate that, if they start making a payment, then Berna stops calling, she stops calling because they know they're in the red, but if it starts shrinking, she knows that they're trying to make a payment. Usually the ones she's calling are the ones that
Don't
don't attempt any payment or are still just racking up the bill because they still eat.
Right. Any other questions?
No, I think great work being done, and I think this is a good improvement, so thanks for bringing it forward. I'll make a motion to approve the change and adopt the memorandum of understanding.
Thank you, Jeremy. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Sean. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you, Madam President. The last item for consideration are the approval of EO policy updates 37.1, 37.2, special July update. Happy to answer any additional questions you may have, but then I'll see the motion to approve those policies as presented. This would be considered our second reading.
Mr. Ketchum, the only question I have is the AI. We currently is banned in our school.
Not banned. We have to have a policy. So two things, Mr. Merkel. One, we have to update our what's called a responsible use policy, a RUP policy. It now includes AI. And then we do have a policy on the proper utilization of AI in the classroom. It's not banned. In fact, we encourage students to leverage AI at times for prompts or starters or things like that. So it's not banned, but we do have specific policies about what is usable and what is not usable with AI.
So if they're doing a paper, we don't want them to go out and search AI and create this paper for them.
There's no educational value in plagiarism. We just basically have AI create your paper. There is value in leveraging AI to do research, document,
Yes.
thesis statements, and then leverage those tools. So again, it's similar to the calculator a few years ago. The calculator was probably not encouraged early in math, but you know what? We use it on a daily basis now.
Okay, thank you.
Paul, I have one question.
Please.
On the expulsion appeals process, how, I guess from a relevancy standpoint, has there ever been an expulsion appeal tried or brought to the board?
In my 9 years, there's been one.
I just had questions about skipping the board and sending it directly to the circuit court. Good friend Judge Dudley, I don't know if he necessarily wants to hear those without us having vetted it first. But if it's only been one in the last 9 years,
Oh,
And then we
it's
had COVID,
necessarily
so nobody had this pretty sexy.
I get it.
worth upsetting the apple cart.
For
sure. I just wanted to inquire about the relevancy. Thank you.
Aye.
Is that something that you're in support of, is just sending it straight to circuit court, or that you think it's something that the board should hear?
I think it's always local control first. I think it should go to the chain of command, obviously building level, superintendent's office, and as a board, that way every parent has the opportunity to go through 3 levels. I think the circuit court is excessive, in my opinion, but I don't make the statutes. I would prefer that this school board would have the final authority whether to hold or overturn that expulsion.
So, I agree with you. I think that we should hear those before they end up in front of Judge Dudley, Judge Kellerman, or wherever. And so I don't know, do we have an ability to reject that amendment in itself and we retain those? That would be my opinion. I don't know if anybody else has the opinion.
That's a great, so my recommendation may be that you approve this as stated with the exception of that policy, and we can table that policy, Mr. Timonero, do some further research and come back next month and approve that policy or amend that policy based on our conversation.
I would be in favor of that.
Good with that.
I just need a recommendation to approve the policy list as presented, with the exception of that.
Yeah, I will move to approve and adopt the Neola policies as presented with the exception of the revised version of volume 3, number 1, November 2024, suspension and expulsion of students, to be revisited in the future.
Thank you, Blaine.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Jeremy. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you, Madam President. That concludes our action items. We're rolled right into our superintendent report. And I think you've probably seen this or saw an email, but again, I want to take every opportunity to celebrate the extremely hard work of our elementary schools. I know our primary school and intermediate school are separated by Highway 46, but Mrs. Cassidy and Mr. Stoneking have done a tremendous job aligning those elementary schools to accomplish the 5th highest pass rate in IREAD in the state of Indiana. So again, kudos to not only our principals, but our teachers, our support staff, and maybe most importantly, our families who understand the importance of literacy. So I'd be remiss not to again celebrate in the public forum the hard work our elementary schools, K3, pre-K3 has done. And that's a very amazing accomplishment, very proud of that team. So I just wanted to again share that in the public forum. Any questions about IREAD or anything like that?
I think it's great.
Yeah, I'm very, again, humbled that our team worked so hard and proud of our community.
Well, I think it is a testament to both buildings, right? Because we are doing some of that testing now in 2nd grade and they have to pass it in 3rd grade, right? So it really is both buildings.
It really is. You know, we talk about a K-12 continuum, vertical alignment. Our principals do an amazing job at those gaps between middle school and high school and the elementary schools. And again, credit to the team and how hard they work.
Correct me if I'm wrong, it was like 98.8% passage rate.
Correct.
And I think when you bring the numbers down to that, it's only like 2 to 4 kids or something like that that ultimately didn't pass. And so
Two students.
we're awfully close to the 100% mark. I mean,
We're
when it comes
trying to get
percentage
there.
basis.
Yeah, we're trying to get there. Miss Cassidy gets a loan grant me. I said, why don't we get to 100? But that's, you let me know about that.
Yeah.
We'll continue on. Again, one of my favorite events is our annual staff picnic. Retirees and current family members at Liberty Park on the Wednesday after Labor Day. So again, want to invite you as board members to participate in that staff picnic. We have upwards of 400 attendees every year, and current employees bring their children to play at Liberty Park, and the retirees love to come back and catch up. And there's a group of 3 young ladies who are always the first ones there and the last ones out. So they keep me on my toes. So looking forward to that event in September. Did want to bring to your attention a handbook change, and it will be across all 4 buildings, but our new middle school assistant principal, Austin Loud, brought it to my attention. Senate Enrolled Act 482 no longer permits schools to suspend or expel students as a consequence of student attendance issues. Our current handbooks say that we can suspend or expel students based on attendance issues. We're no longer able to do that. So we have to amend per the statute, we have to amend our handbooks that basically will change those students will then be assigned RCATs, which is an alternative suspension. So again, no action item for this board. I just wanted you to be aware that our handbooks by statute have to change to reflect that law. Any questions I can answer on that? I'm happy to do that.
Is there ongoing work in Franklin County to reinvigorate an RCAT program on that side of the county line?
Mr. Timonero, I do not think there's been a recent conversation about that. And that's been a little bit of a barrier for a school corporation that spans 2 counties.
Right.
But yeah, if there's an opportunity to have that conversation, I would welcome that.
I'll put a word in.
Thank you. Thank you. I think there's some people over there.
Yeah.
This going down our events in September, again, no school on Labor Day, September 1st. September 2nd is a professional development day for our staff. There will be no students. September 8th through 12th is a Scholastic Book Fair at BIS. And then again, our next school board meeting is here in this room on September 17th at noon. That concludes my report. I'll turn it over to you, Madam President, and any board member comments.
Does any board members have any comments?
Mr. Ketchum, I think in some of your emails, you said we would have an executive session prior to the next board meeting.
Yes.
Is that gonna happen?
I'm going to confer again with Madam President about that. I just wanted to you, there could be an opportunity for that as we make some transitions. My question for you is if that should be before the meeting or after the meeting based on schedules. So we'll talk offline about what that looks like, Mr. Merkel.
I'm available before and after.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions?
Nothing for me.
There was a Senate bill that was passed that was going to do away with the grading system of 8F. I think that's been reinstated. I don't know what they're doing going forward.
No, great question. So for years, schools were on an accountability system and they were rated A through F. And for many years, obviously, Batesville was an A-rated school. They hit pause on that accountability model in COVID in 2020, and they haven't reenacted that model since. The State Board of Education is currently working on with their rules power to create a new accountability model. So I would anticipate for the 26-27 school year, there will be a new accountability model in place.
So we'll be at the high level of proficient or something like that.
There is a dashboard, and what will happen is based on, I'll get way in the weeds here, so there'll be an opportunity for local boards to pick what portions of the dashboard they value, and based on how the school performs on that dashboard, that would become their accountability rank.
I like the old grade. It's easy.
Thank
Anything
you.
else?